Prabhu, can you bring the phone? Sorry? No, can you bring the phone, the camera, closer? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we're reading from the Caitanya Caritamrta. I had a discussion with Mark Prabhu from China.
Huh?
Mark Edwards, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he was in a discussion with some devotees over whether the rtvik system, Srila Prabhupada's system, is authorized or not. And they quoted one passage from the Caitanya Caritamrta to point out a defect in Prabhupada's instruction.
Ooh.
Point out a defect in Srila Prabhupada by using his own book. So now we're going to read a little bit more in context what this passage actually means. So it's from a chapter called The Meeting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vallabha Bhattacharya. Vallabha Bhattacharya was an acharya, a pure devotee also, but he manifested a pastime of pride. So Lord Chaitanya then he's smashing Vallabha Bhattacharya just to show the example for the future, how we should approach the acharya. So it is very nectarian, and of course the best is to read the whole Caitanya Caritamrta, or the whole chapter, but I'm just going to pick up the relevant passages for our understanding here. Okay. So, okay, Mark says something. Mark says, I don't know, this is just what I was exposed to when I first meet devotees in the Philippines. I also don't see where it states, where it doesn't go on after his departure, so I thought it was clear to assume it does, and that is the final order. Or he would have clarified that after he departs his body, then my disciples can become Diksha Gurus.
No, it doesn't say Diksha Gurus.
No, that's what he says, Edward.
Edward, but the instruction doesn't say Diksha.
Yeah, that's what Edward is saying, that the instruction doesn't say Diksha.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's right.
Okay, Prabhu, that's okay, that's fine. We're just gonna read this passage. We're gonna focus on this particular passage because it's a very complex topic. So we just did this quote you have sent to me. We're gonna read in context. And then we have a discussion, Yes. Actually, yeah, this is a quote from Prabhupada's purport. I don't know if you know. This is a quote from Prabhupada's purport. Now we're going to read it, Prabhu, okay? So. Bhatera hridaye drida abhimana jami Bangi kari mahaprabhu kaita bani. Translation. Knowing that Vallabha Bhatta's heart was full of pride, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke these words, hinting at how one can learn about devotional service. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C.Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Vallabha Bhatta was greatly proud of his knowledge in devotional service. And therefore, he wanted to speak about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without understanding the Lord's position. The Lord therefore hinted in many ways that if Balabhata wanted to know what devotional service actually is, he would have to learn from all the devotees he mentioned, beginning with Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Raya. As Swarup Damodara has said, if one wants to learn the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, one must take lessons from a realized soul. Now the passage, one should not proudly think that one can understand the transforming service of the Lord simply by reading books. One must become a servant of a Vaishnava. As Narottam Das Thakur has confirmed, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payechikiba. One cannot be in a transcendental position unless one very faithfully serves a pure Vaishnava. One must accept a Vaishnava Guru, Ado Guru Ashrayam, and then by questions and answers, one should gradually learn what pure devotional service to Krishna is. That is called the Parampara system. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Jnana Jana Shalakayam Chakshunam Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. So, seems like the Ritvik conclusion is completely smashed by this purport. Here it says very clearly, one must take a Vaishnava Guru, and then by questions and answers, one should gradually learn what is pure devotional service. You should not be puffed up and thinking that you can understand by reading books. Seems like we're completely smashed. We can pack and go and join ISKCON. So this, we have to understand what is the context here in this chapter. Vallabha Bhattacharya approaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and glorifies him. But here Prabhupada says he doesn't know the actual position of the Lord. You see, Vallabha Bhattacharya thinks that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a pure devotee, but he didn't understand that he was Krishna himself. That's why he says that only unless one is empowered by Krishna directly, he can propagate the Sankirtan movement. He thought that Lord Chaitanya was a very elevated devotee, but the fact that he was actually Krishna himself, he didn't really understand. So, then he inquired about devotional principles from Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, showing the example of the Acharya, said that I do not know anything about bhakti. If you want to understand, I have learned, whatever I know, I learned from Advaita Acharya, from Haridas Thakur, from, then it mentions, all these devotees, elevated devotees. They know, they have taught me, I do not know anything. Like that, showing to Vallabha Bhattacharya the actual standard of Vaishnava Parampara. So now, Vallabha Bhattacharya, it is mentioned here, what he was thinking. The next verse says, I am a great Vaishnava, having learned all the conclusions of Vaishnava philosophy, I can understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam and explain it very well. Okay? Such pride had existed for a long time within Vallabha Bhatta's mind, and as he heard the preaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pride was cut down. When Vallabha Bhatta heard from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the pure Vaishnavism of all these devotees, he immediately desired to see them. Vallabha Bhatta said, where do all these Vaishnavas live, and how can I see them? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, although some of them live in Bengal and some in other states, they have all come here to see the Ratha Yatra At present, they are all living here. Their residences are in various quarters. Here, you will get the audience of them all. Thereafter, with great submission and humility, Balabhata invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to dine at his home. The next day, when all the Vaishnavas came to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord introduced Balabhata to them all. He was surprised to see the brilliance of their faces. Indeed, among them, Balabhata seemed just like a glowworm. Then Balabhata brought in a great quantity of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasada and sumptuously fed Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. All the sannyasi associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Paramananda Puri, sat on one side and thus partook of the prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in the midst of the devotees. Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda each sat on one side of the Lord. The other devotees sat in front of the Lord and behind him. The devotees from Bengal, who I am unable to count, all sat down in lines in the courtyard. When Balabhata saw all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was greatly surprised, but in devotion he offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of each and every one of them. Sarup Damodar, Jaganananda, Kashishvara and Shankara, along with Raghav and Damodar Pandit, took charge of distributing the prasada. Balabhata had brought a large quantity of Mahaprasada offered to Lord Jagannath. Thus all the sannyasis sat down to eat with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Accepting the prasadam, all the Vaishnavas chanted the holy name, Hari Hari. The rising vibration of the holy name of Lord Hari filled the entire universe. When all the Vaishnavas had finished eating, Balabhata brought a large quantity of garlands, sandalwood pulp, spices and betel. He worshipped them very respectfully and became extremely happy. On the date of the Car festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began the congregational chanting. As he had done previously, he divided all the devotees into 7 groups. 7 devotees, Advaita, Nityananda, Haridas Thakur, Vakreshvara, Srivas Thakur, Raghava Pandit and Gadadhar Pandit formed 7 groups and began dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chanting Hari Bol, wandered from one group to another. 14 mridangas resounded with the loud congregational chanting, and in each group was a dancer whose dance of ecstatic love inundated the entire world. Seeing all this, Balabhata was completely astonished. He was overwhelmed by trance of bliss and lost himself. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped the dancing of the others, and as he had done previously, he personally began to dance. Seeing the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the awakening of his ecstatic love, Balabhata concluded, here is Lord Krishna, without a doubt. Now he understood. Okay? As Balabhata witnessed the Car festival, he was simply astonished by the characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day after the festival was over, Balabhata went to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and submitted a request at the lotus feet of the Lord. I have written some commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said. What would your lordship kindly hear it? The Lord replied, I do not understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Indeed, I am not a suitable person to hear its meaning. I simply sit and try to chant the holy name of Krishna. And although I chant all day and night, I nevertheless cannot complete the chanting of my prescribed number of rounds. Now just to summarize, now Balabhata will try very hard to read this commentary to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will ignore, he will reject. So then Balabhata would be bugging all his associates. And they would all refuse, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused. So nobody wanted to hear his commentary. Ultimately he approaches Gadadhar Pandit and he forcibly is reading him this commentary, this Balabhata Acharya. He was so puffed up. So when he started forcibly to recite, Gadadhar Pandit started praying to Lord Chaitanya that, oh my Lord, you are in my heart, you understand what is the circumstances of the situation. Please forgive me, but this person is reading forcibly. That is why I'm hearing, but otherwise I don't want to hear. I don't want to be poisoned. And so, he says, protect me from this danger. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in everyone's heart, and he will certainly know my mind. Therefore, I do not fear him. His associates, however, are extremely critical. So the others were critical. Whatever conclusions Ballabhabhata eagerly presented were refuted by personalities like Advaita Acharya. Whenever Ballabhabhata entered the society of devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, he was like a duck in a society of white swans. So then he was discussing, finally he became so desperate that he was thinking how to attract their attention. Every day I am defeated in this assembly. If by chance I am one day victorious, that will be a great source of happiness for me, and all my shame will go away. But that means, but what means shall I adopt to establish my statements? The next day, when he came to the assembly of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sat down after offering obeisances to the Lord and said something with great pride. In my commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, I have refuted the explanations of Sridhar Swami. I cannot accept his explanations. So, Sridhar Swami is the most famous commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada also quotes him many times, Sridhar Swami. He is from a different sampradaya. He is not from the Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. But nevertheless, we accept him as the topmost authority on the Bhagavatam. So, everyone accepts Sridhar Swami's commentary. And Sridhar Swami already departed maybe 500 years ago when this happened. He was already
1,000 years from now,
yeah, he was already not there physically. So now Lord Chaitanya is going to chastise Ballabhabhata Acharya. Ballabhabhata Acharya continues blasphemy. Whatever Sridhar Swami reads, he explains according to the circumstances. Therefore, he is inconsistent in his explanations and cannot be accepted as an authority. Okay, this is very interesting. He is trying to smash the previous Acharya by saying that he is explaining according to the circumstances. In other words, whatever instruction he has given, they are just temporary, according to the circumstances. His instructions don't apply to the present time. Very similar, like they say, Prabhupada's rtvik system, that was just a temporary measure that should not be accepted in the present day. Very similar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smilingly replied, one who does not accept the Swami as an authority, I consider a prostitute. The Swami has twofold meaning. It means a Swami like a sannyasi, but also a husband. Husband is also called Swami. So Lord Chaitanya very nicely, elegantly smashed Ballabhabhata Acharya. He says, you don't accept Swami, husband, that means you're a prostitute. So anyone who doesn't accept the authority of the Acharya, he is like a prostitute. Going here from this guru, that guru, he's not fixed up. You have to accept a Diksha guru, initiating spiritual master. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very grave. All the devotees present derived great satisfaction from hearing this statement. All the devotees, when Lord Chaitanya smashed him, they derived great satisfaction. Oh, very good. Nice kick on the face. The devotees take great pleasure, when a rascal is defeated. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended as an incarnation for the benefit of the entire world. Thus he knew the mind of Ballabhabhata very well. By various hints and refutations, Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, corrected Ballabhabhata exactly as Krishna had cut down the false pride of Indra. An ignorant living being does not recognize his actual profit. Because of ignorance and material pride, he sometimes considers profit a loss, but when his pride is cut down, he can actually see his true benefits. I'm going to skip a little bit. Okay, now Balabhavatacharya is begging for forgiveness to Lord Chaitanya. He understands his fault. And now Lord Chaitanya is going to give him the real smashing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are both a greatly learned scholar and a great devotee. Whenever there are two such attributes, there cannot be a mountain of false pride. You have dared to criticize Sridhar Swami, and you have begun your own commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, not accepting his authority. That is your false pride. Sridhar Swami is the spiritual master of the entire world, because by his mercy we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. I therefore accept him as a spiritual master." This is what Lord Chaitanya says. "Whatever you might write due to false pride, trying to surpass Sridhar Swami, would carry a contrary purport. Therefore, no one would pay attention to it." Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam has many tikas or commentaries following the parampara system. But Sridhar Swami is first. The commentaries of all other acharyas follow his. The parampara system does not allow one to deviate from the commentaries of the previous acharyas. By depending upon the previous acharyas, one can write beautiful commentaries. However, one cannot defy the previous acharyas. The false pride that makes one think that he can write better than the previous acharyas will make one's comments faulty. At the present moment, it has become fashionable for everyone to write in his own way. But such writing is never accepted by serious devotees. Because of false pride, every scholar and philosopher wants to exhibit his learning by interpreting the Shastras, especially Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, in his own way. This system of commenting in one's own way is fully condemned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore he says, "Artha vyasta likhana se." Commentaries written according to one's philosophical way are never accepted. No one will appreciate such commentaries on the revealed scriptures. Okay? So, the context of this purport is that first of all, Balabhavatacharya was attempting to write a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is not that, someone accepts initiation, right? You have the initiation ceremony, swaha, and the next day you're writing a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. For God's sake. These are completely different circumstances. That's number one point. You can't compare these two situations. And second of all, the point is very clear. Here, what Prabhupada says, one should not be puffed up to think that he can understand simply by reading books. He is explaining this in the context. Balabhavatacharya was reading the Bhagavatam directly without accepting the guidance of Sridhar Swami, who was not present physically. So how can you say that, you need a living guru? This is what Prabhupada says here in this quote. Sridhar Swami was not there. Sridhar Swami departed 500 so many years already. So what does Prabhupada say here when he says, by reading the books? Reading the books without the purport of the bona fide spiritual master. If the purport is there, the guru is there. Very simple. I don't understand how these devotees can't follow this very simple point. The reason is that they're rascals. They don't want to understand. Even a small child can understand that they're quoting this passage that you don't need to, or you can't understand the books, right? You have to accept a living guru. They try to supplement this idea. So they're quoting Srila Prabhupada in this passage where he says you should not try to approach Krishna or understand devotional service simply by reading books. But these rascals are quoting the book. The very passage is from a book. Just see the contradiction. He says you can't understand through the books. Here in this book, it is mentioned. Where is your living guru? Bring your living guru to explain. Why are you touching Prabhupada's books? You rascal. A kick on your face. And people are not able to understand such a simple contradiction. Foolish people are accepting this. So rascal. They're all condemned. See, I was, yesterday we published, or yesterday or the day before, we published an article. I explained this living guru is a blasphemy. The living guru philosophy is a blasphemy. It's not oops, I made a mistake, or it's my opinion, or, they have their opinion, you have your rtvik opinion. No, it's a blasphemy. You go to hell. Anyone who says posthumous system of initiation, they use these words, posthumous.
Yeah.
The posthumous initiation is not authorized in the Shastra. Posthumous means after death. They think that the acarya is an ordinary man. By simply saying that word, posthumous, you're qualifying yourself to go to the hellish worlds. Padma Purana says very clearly, one who considers the deity to be made of stone, one who considers the holy name to be an ordinary sound vibration, one who considers to be the Chanamrita to be an ordinary water, one who considers the spiritual master different from his body. Anyone who says that Prabhupada left his body, anyone who says that Prabhupada's soul left his body is possessing a hellish intelligence, Narakipuri. Narakipuri. The Shastra warns, don't think like this. This is Mayavad, impersonalism. I do not say this, Prabhupada says this. In a conversation with Dr. Patel, you might have known this conversation with Dr. Patel. Dr. Patel says, we should surrender to the soul of the Guru, not to the body of the Guru. We should surrender to the soul. And Prabhupada says, no, this is Mayavad. The soul of the Guru and the body of the Guru are no different. There's no difference between the soul and the... For you, there is a difference, yes. Because you are a prisoner in this world. You have this body, the material tabernacle, this prison uniform. Yeah, that is you, but not the Guru. If the Guru is conditioned, if the Guru is bound by robes, robe guna means also the modes of material nature, how can he deliver you? If you're bound by robes, how can you free me from my bondage? Simple point. You don't need a great, complex philosophy. Even the child can understand. If a person is bound by ropes, he cannot free anyone else. He cannot even free himself. You see? So this is foolishness. Complete foolishness. Taking out of context and trying to supplement some bogus materialistic philosophy. Or you need something material, some material body in order to make spiritual advancement. Don't listen to these rascals. They're rascals. These so-called spiritual masters are rascals. And the people who accept such rascals as spiritual, they are also rascals. Don't think that they're innocent. Innocent person will not become misled. Only a rascal will become misled. Because he wants to be misled. Why these devotees here, they don't become misled? Because they're sincere. According to your desire, Krishna puts you in a particular association. So the very fact that one is associating with such nonsense means that his desire is to be cheated. So we don't keep company with such nonsense people who are blaspheming the acarya, calling him an ordinary man, trying to divide his soul and the body. Just like the Mayavadis, they trying to divide Krishna's soul and Krishna's body. They say when Krishna appears, he does it because he is bound by the material energy, by Maya. Krishna becomes subjugated by Maya. That's how they explain, these rascals. That is directly contradicted by Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I descend unto this world by the agency of my Yogamaya potency. By Yogamaya. That is his spiritual energy, Yogamaya. That is not the Mahamaya. There's a difference. Mahamaya is the chastising energy. That is for the conditioned souls. Just like a police. Police is not meant for law-abiding citizens or for the president. President cannot be arrested by the police. That is for the criminals. Similarly, this Mahamaya is meant for the conditioned souls, not for liberated souls, not for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, it is most foolish how these people are misinterpreting, taking things out of context, quoting Prabhupada's books to prove that you can't understand the books. That's ridiculous. So, we should read these books very carefully, otherwise we'll be cheated. We must be cheated. Because as I read this purport, right, in the beginning, it seems very bewildering. They can bewilder you by using these purports out of context. That's why you have to read thoroughly. You have to understand the science thoroughly. But simply if you read this Bhagavad Gita, the beginning, not even the whole Bhagavad Gita, the beginning, what is the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita? What is the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna explains, the first point. He explains that we're not the body. Body is temporary, the soul is eternal. And then he says, the soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon, cannot be burned, cannot be weathered by wind, cannot be moistened by water. Nothing material can affect the spirit soul. Nothing material. So similarly, your spiritual life cannot be affected by any material cause. This is fundamental understanding. If you think, oh, I cannot practice Krishna consciousness because of some material circumstance, that is not Krishna consciousness. If you practice seriously, sincerely, Krishna will make the arrangement. He will send Srila Prabhupada to you. And if you're really serious, you're not going to mind whether it's in a physical form or in a form of a book. What is important is the instruction. If you're after instruction, you don't worry where that instruction is coming from. Just like if you are a big scientist, or if you're a student, and you're a serious student, and you want to learn medicine or law or business, then you go to a school even in other country. If that school is good, then you're going to make the endeavor. You're going to purchase your ticket and you're going to go. Or if you have the book which gives the understanding, and you can't go to the other country, but you're serious, you can learn everything from the book. Just like in school, there are teachers, but the teachers are not usually the authors of the books that are being discussed in the class. Author is someone else. The author is not even there physically, but the teachers are instructing on his behalf from the books. Similarly, there can be many spiritual masters, that's okay, many assistants of Prabhupada. You can get your questions answered by them. Even in Prabhupada's physical presence, Prabhupada would say, please don't ask me these simple questions. My disciples, they can answer. I have no time for this. Waste your time for your sense gratification. Oh, I was with Prabhupada. Prabhupada answered my question. Prabhupada didn't have time for this sentimentalism. If you ask a question, then ask a question which cannot be answered by anyone. But so many questions we can answer right away. Many times I ask on this class, any questions? No one is asking any questions. Very few are asking. So people have no questions. And they say, oh, I need a spiritual master because he can answer my question. But what is your question? Do you have questions? You have no questions. What is your question? How can I have better sex life? How can I earn money? These sort of questions we don't ask the spiritual master. Even Srila Prabhupada says, I asked my Guru Maharaj only one question. How can I serve you? That was the only question I asked him. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, yes, you preach in English language. Print books, preach, go to the USA and establish Krishna. See, one question was sufficient. And the instruction is there. In Prabhupada's books, full of instructions. Just like Mark told me, he watches the videos, but he doesn't read so much. You see? So we don't even have time to read the books. But if we read, the questions are there. So, any questions? Was it clear, Mark Prabhu, this passage from the Caitanya Caritamrta? Was it understood? How Sridhar Swami actually was not present? That's what Prabhupada was criticizing in that purport, that we should not read the books, in other words, directly the shlokas of the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, without reading his purports, without the purports of the acaryas. That was the point there, not that you need a living guru. Because Vallabhabhatacharya was doing exactly that. He was ignoring the purport of Sridhar Swami, and he was trying to make his own commentary on the shlokas of the Bhagavatam. That was the context, not living guru. Was it understood, Prabhu? Mark? Did you understand this point from the Caitanya Caritamrta reading? I'm not sure if you understood. You can clarify if you didn't. Because you send this quote, so I'm explaining you what that quote means in the context. So you're not confused by these people. It's very important. Okay, Mark says, he said that I'm not able to associate with Prabhupada directly, even though I stated that his books and deity are no different. He said that I'm thinking that I'm on such a high level if I do this. Yeah. That's a very high level, of course. If you accept a spiritual master, then your path back home, back to God, it is almost guaranteed if you follow his instructions. So, that is definitely a very high level. And if you don't understand this point, that the spiritual master is not different from his books, that you have not even begun your Krishna consciousness. So his level is very low. There's actually no level. Level implies that you already have some asset in Krishna consciousness. But one who doesn't understand this point, that the Guru is not different from his instructions, and by reading Prabhupada's books and following his instructions, we are following the bona fide spiritual master. He has not even begun. He doesn't know anything. So he has no level. You have a high level because you are accepting a bona fide Guru, and that person who criticizes you has no level. He doesn't even have a level. Okay? I have quoted, I have sent you before this article, do I need a living Guru? I have quoted the Shastra. What the Shastra says about people who make a distinction between the Guru's body and Guru's soul. I have quoted. It's not that this is my opinion. This is what the Shastra says. We can't just come and speak like in a pub, in my opinion, and I think, and this and that. We have to quote the Shastra. We're speaking of Krishna, so we have to quote Krishna. Not speculation. Where does it say? You challenge them. You ask them. Where does it state in the Shastra that the Guru is different from his body? Where does it say? Show me. Where does it say that we should think like that? It might be low level or high level, but where does it say that we should think like that? Just like following the four regulative principles. There might be a high level. Someone who is able to follow these principles, he is on a very good platform to practice Krishna consciousness. It is necessary. But where does it say that, oh, that is a very high level, so you have to break the principles. Otherwise you're puffed up. If you don't break the principles, if you think that you're pure, that you can follow, then you're a rascal. What does it say? It's nonsense. These are nonsense arguments. Okay, it says, he says that we need to have a living Guru to correct our faults and interact with, and we can't interact with him, so we won't get the same benefit as a living Guru. Why not? Why does it say this? Who said this? Who is spreading this nonsense, bogus philosophy? Where does it say that you need a living Guru? You challenge them. They're challenging you, but you challenge them. Where does Prabhupada say this? You need a living Guru to have interaction with, and so on and so on. The interaction with the Guru is spiritual. If you want to have material interaction, that is not a Guru. That is a rascal. Huh? What is the difficulty? Prabhupada says, you follow these principles, preach Krishna consciousness. So you do that. Are you doing it? You can ask him, are you doing like this? No, he's not doing. That's why he finds difficulty. But if you want to do, then you find no difficulty. And Prabhupada gives. Prabhupada corrects. Just like you read something, you might have a misunderstanding, but if you read on and on, then ultimately you see your misunderstanding is clarified. Oh, actually, I was wrong, because Prabhupada says here such and such. What is the difficulty? I don't understand. Why this body of the Guru is necessary? Another argument is that Srila Prabhupada, in his physical presence, initiated many thousands of devotees who never had any interaction physical. So, how do they explain this? Is Prabhupada bogus? Why he gives such initiations? Is Prabhupada bogus? You can challenge them. There's no interaction. Thousands of devotees never seen Prabhupada. They were serving in a temple. Prabhupada was on the other side of the planet. They never seen Prabhupada. They never seen him. They never asked any question. Prabhupada never corrected them. Prabhupada had 5,000 disciples. Do you think that he was correcting every single one of them? Huh? Nonsense number one. Where is this coming from? This bogus ideas. I need a living Guru. Prabhupada says very clearly, Guru is not a question of living. He says it in the lecture in Seattle, 1968. So how can you argue? Why are you arguing? Prabhupada says it's not a question of living. You say, yeah, you need a living Guru. See? Arguing with Prabhupada. And this person, is posing as some kind of a devotee who's going to now teach us what kind of system we should follow. He's not an authority immediately. He's contradicting Prabhupada. Just like Bhaktivedanta rejected Sridhar Swami. This rascal is rejecting Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada says you do not need a living guru. And he says, yes, you need. So you think you're better than Prabhupada? You're better authority than Prabhupada? Huh? Who cares for you? We don't care. We'll kick on your face. Okay, Mark says, he's making me feel like it's not humble to take Prabhupada directly, and no one can claim to do that. Humble or not humble, we're speaking of the Siddhanta. Why he's distracting attention. I might be humble, I might be puffed up. That's irrelevant. How does it relate to the discussion? If I say Krishna is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you're going to say, no, that's not true, because you're not humble. That's irrelevant. If someone is speaking the truth, it doesn't matter who he is, whether he is humble or not humble or anything. He might be a Hitler, just for argument's sake. He might be even a Hitler or Stalin or some, serial killer. If he says Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why do you object? It's true. If he says 2 plus 2 is 4, it's 4. This is irrelevant. It's a very faulty argument. Oh, what you say is not true because you're not humble. Yeah, so I'm not humble, whatever. But deal with the argument. Deal with the Shastra. These are the statements of the Acharya. I might not be humble, that's okay. But do you think Prabhupada is bogus? That he initiated so many disciples without physically interacting with them? You can ask him like that. Yes, I'm not humble, that's okay. But do you think Prabhupada is bogus? Do you think Prabhupada is not humble? Because he has initiated thousands of disciples without physically interacting with them? Nonsense. These are all nonsense theories. Created by rascals to cheat another set of rascals. You ask him, you say that you can't understand through the books of Prabhupada. You need a living guru. So why is he quoting Prabhupada's books? You ask him this question. Why unnecessary follow? Why be intimidated by these rascals? You kick on him. You challenge him. Isn't that a contradiction? He says you don't need books, but he's quoting it from a book. Only a rascal can accept such a proposal. You can't understand from the books, and here is a statement from the book. So bring your living guru. Why are you quoting the book? Now the book is very handy. Now all of a sudden you can understand from a book. To prove your rascal point, yes, that book is very useful, very nice. But if you want to accept guidance from Prabhupada and follow his instructions, then all of a sudden, this is a big problem. You cannot understand anything from the book. You have to serve my guru, you have to give him money, you have to worship him. Otherwise, how will our institution go on? How will my guru eat his nice cakes? Just like this one guru, he's so fat that Krishna had to smash his face so he wakes up. He was so fat, was eating so much. Now his face is completely smashed. He looks like a retard. He looks like a retard. That is the mercy of Krishna. So fat. Why was he so fat? Because collecting money which was meant to develop Prabhupada's movement. Collecting and misusing for his own glorification. That is the only reason why this living guru. philosophy is there. So some rascals can take advantage nicely. See, Prabhupada is there for everyone. The books are everywhere. If you're serious, there is no problem. There is no lack. Just like here, we're following very nicely without any living guru. Devotees are very happy. We're preaching, we're expanding. I just heard that we're now starting a new branch in US, BLISS, Seattle. Ribol. So, still, these people will not accept. Just look how BLISS is expanding. The BLISS society, how devotees are getting initiated, how they preach, how the books are going out, how the holy name, the chant. And look at these people, look at their temples, full of Hindus. And then during the week, it's like a ghost town. Yes. No brahmacharis, no one is joining, no one is reading, nothing. And these gurus themselves are not following the principles. That's a fact. That's admitted. It was admitted by one of these GBCs that our gurus, they had sex with men, women, and possibly children. So only a foolish person can accept it. Oh, this is very good. A guru has sex with men, women, and children? A guru has sex with children and you accept that as bona fide? You are so low intelligent that the guru is having sex with children and you worship him as good as God? And we need such a living guru? So we can have physical association with him? No, thank you. And allow this guru to have physical association with my child? We don't need to. We kick on such a rascal living guru. We kick on his face. We go to the police.
Even the police will take action.
Yes. Even the non-devotees have this understanding that someone who is a pedophile can't be a representative of God. But these rascals, they want because they're rascals, they're all demons. Only a demon can allow some rascal to rape his child. This is a demon. Someone who rapes children is a demon. And why people are not object? Because they themselves are demon. Why they don't find it strange? Why they believe in this philosophy? Because they themselves, they like it, yes. They're all demons and rascals. So don't waste time with them. Why are you wasting time? Read Prabhupada. You say you don't read Prabhupada's books, so read Prabhupada's books instead of wasting time with these rascals. What is the use of arguing even? There is no use. They will never accept. They like their pedophilia. They're not devotees. Don't be confused. They dress like devotees, but the devotee is not raping children. This is just common sense. I don't understand why people don't understand this common sense. Alright, Grantaraj Shri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gora Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Guru Nani Sari Nani Vishisha Shunamari Bhattacharya.
Thank you for watching. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.